Hey guys, Jordan here. Today we're taking a look at another 5090, but not just any 5090. This one was kindly sent out by Scan Computers, and they've kindly let me keep hold of this one for future videos, builds, testing, benchmarks, on that kind of stuff. So a massive thank you to those guys. If you don't know about them, they are one of the leading UK retailers. They sell a massive range of different products, everything from PC stuff. They've also got sim racing gear, pro audio video gear, musical instruments, you name it, they pretty much sell it. And yeah, massive thank you to those guys making this possible, because this really opens up what we can do on the channel, being that I've got one of these on hand to test stuff with. And more specifically, this is the PALIT GameRock Edition 5090, 32 GB, currently retailing at $18.89, a little bit cheaper than some of the other models as well. If you are in the realms to get one and you want to save a little bit of money, it would be a good time to possibly look at one. And as we get through, I'll run you through some of the key specs about the 5090 series. So this is 6nm architecture. We've got 21,760 cores. How many cores would you like? Yes, basically for this card. There's also a base clock of 2017 megahertz and then a boost of 2407 megahertz. We've also got 3,352 AI tops, which is obviously a big thing for this series. But let's get into the box and take some more specs as we go. Got some really cool stickers. I do like those. It's got like a bit of a texture to them as well. Also got a little bit of information. Share your PALIT powered success stories. Little mouse pad, that's pretty cool. We might find something to do with that. And then we've got, of course, underneath the GameRock 5090. So in the accessory box, first of all, we have got, I'm going to assume, a adapter for the power. Then we've also got some adapters for the LEDs. You can plug a 3-pin addressable RGB into this card. We've also then got an anti-sag bracket as well that you can assemble for different heights. Then there's also the backplate that screws into the card. Then get out the chonk. Holy moly, what a beast. We've got lots of pills on here as well, so let me get the rest of the stuff out of the way and we'll do those. So you can see all the blues and greens now. We've also got a pill on the top, I noticed. Long boy heatsink in this. I wonder if we can see how many heat pipes we've got. Quite difficult to see inside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in there. Going cross-eyed trying to look at that. And Zotac are using 30-degree angled fins as well, which apparently helps the heat dissipation. I don't know if you'll be able to see that very well, but you can just have a look through. Obviously you get some heat dissipation there from the fan on the other side. Then we've also got triple fans cooling those. These are going all the same way, a little bit different. Sometimes we'll see two will go clockwise, one will go anti-clockwise and things like that, but these are all going the same one in this direction. You've also got silent mode on those fans too, so under 60 degrees or 150 watts, they won't spin up, so your rig will be nice and silent. We generally see that on most cards nowadays too, which is good. Now, if you want to know the specifics on the size, this is 331.9mm long. That usually excludes the bracket because that overhangs anyway. Then it's 70.4mm thick, then 150mm high. Nice matte black backplate. Then on the top, we've also got the 3-pin addressable 5V, and then also our 12V high power connector, the 6+6, 12+4, 16-pin, whatever you want to call it. This is going to require a minimum 1000-watt power supply for this one, so a big beefy boy is going to do a maximum draw of 575 watts. So lastly, going on to the end for our display options, we've got 3 display ports. These are 2.1B. And we've also got an HDMI, which is 2.1B as well. So obviously you can support 4 monitors and then a maximum resolution of 8K or 7680 by 4320. So that was a look around the card itself. Now let's get it into the test system, do our usual testing suite in both 1440p and 4K. And we'll talk to you about the results. I can give you my overall thoughts. I've now tested the PALIT RTX 5090 GameRock, and the results have actually been quite surprising, especially that this isn't even an OC model either. Now, just like the MSI 5090 Liquid Supreme that I tested previously, this thing is incredibly fast. But what makes this stand out is it's hitting that level of performance without relying on an overclock or even the latest drivers. I was still using the same drivers from my 4090 testing before I reviewed the Supreme, so there isn't a new driver bumping up the figures or anything there, making this even more impressive. So I'm going to let the charts roll. We've got quite a few to go through, and then I'll continue with a conclusion. At 1440p, the GameRock came out ahead or tied in most titles. We saw 350 FPS at 1440p with Crisis Remastered, 192 frames in Cyberpunk and 252 average in Dirt 5. 1% lows were strong too, meaning even the dips that we saw stayed smooth during heavy loads. Until we got into ray tracing, all the games had triple figures average FPS, so great to see that. By stepping up to 4K, it didn't fall behind. Across the board, it delivered top tier numbers and even traded blows with that LC, giving very close results and sometimes even exceeding the FPS in some titles, which is impressive given that the GameRock has the lack of 360mm radiator on the Supreme and also no factory overclock. Now, for those of you that are wondering about DLSS4 and also the FSR3 performance in supported titles, here's a quick look at how the GameRock stacks up with a few different cards in 1440p high and then ray traced on Cyberpunk 2077. Now, I expected this card to be under the results of the Supreme, but it's on a really unexpected level. If you're after real performance without relying on a DLSS4, which I always think can be a little bit weird with some ghosting and more effects, this is where the card shines. Given that you're going to pay almost £1,900 for this as well, you should expect to not rely on DLSS anyway. Also, if you are interested in the 5080 results that you see in the charts, I will have a full review of the Gaming Pro coming up very soon. To get subscribed and ding the bell so you don't miss that. Now, the thermals on this card were very reasonable for a card of this caliber. While the GameRock doesn't have a hotspot temperature, I've used my standard method of calculating it. So we take the normal temperature and then add around 15 degrees. That puts it around 88.9 with an ambient of 25.9, which gave a delta of 63. I've also got that chart sorted by delta and high temperature for those that want to see those differences. Now, in terms of the cooling that this comes with, it holds up fairly well. It was quite quiet at 1440p. We didn't see really any fan ramping either, unless we got onto some really demanding 4K. I did see a little bit of coil whine in the Crisis Remastered menu, but I see that with every card that I test, so that wasn't a fault of the GameRock specifically. And overall, it has been a very quiet card. Now, other things to mention, the wattage from the wall at 732 watts, it's a lot less than what we saw from the MSI. That was going under 800 watts with similar conditions, and that makes the GameRock obviously notably more efficient in terms of power usage while maintaining that high top tier performance. The RGB can obviously be changed if you want to do something a little bit more neutral, and they've also got that 3-pin RGB header on there. I don't know how many people may use that, especially given that your cables are either going to have to go up or down. It might work better if you're going to vertical mount the card, but the option is there should you want to use it if you really lack that money or you're putting so much RGB in that you need to use that. Also, if you do want to see this vertical mounted in a build, then do let me know. I've got one coming up where we could showcase that. Now, there is a fair bit of plastic on this card, minus the back plate. That does make it feel a little bit less premium than some other cards on the market, but overall the card, it does feel very solid, and I think overall PALIT have done a very good job. The cooling is very good. Like I said, it is quite quiet. You get a nice different design and then exceptional performance, but the kicker for this is at the time of filming it's actually one of the cheapest 5090s available, so it performs on par with the more expensive models, yet keeps the thermals and acoustics in check and also uses less power. This is actually the first PALIT graphics card that I've tested on the channel. I've been very impressed with it, so if you are watching, guys, great job. Please keep up the good work. Now, if there's anything else you'd like to know that I haven't covered, then please do leave a comment. I've got more builds and testing to come where I can do different things and test what you guys would like to see. Also, get subscribed and do the bell so you don't miss those, and also when the RTX 5080 review goes live. Massive thank you to Scan Computers for making all of this possible. Links will be down in the description box below if you want to pick one up. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.